Here we have it, the S25 Ultra live in the flesh. Of course, you can pre-order it now. Just link in the description, affiliate link, you can go pre-order it if you want to get one. And yeah, pretty neat stuff so far. So you can see they changed up the profile a little bit more rounded on the edges. I actually really like the feel of it. It feels very lightweight, feels very balanced. With some hands-on time, you can see they've changed up the way the cameras look on the back. They definitely have like this bigger design, more eye-popping, essentially the same cameras, except they added a 50 megapixel ultra wide on here. It's supposed to have 4 times better macro capability too, because it uses the ultra wide for the macro. One thing that we do need to talk about, the S Pen, which no longer has Bluetooth, unfortunately. So you don't have the air commands, the air gestures anymore. You can no longer use it as a remote shutter, which is kind of frustrating. I don't really know why they did that other than just to save money. There's also no 16 gig RAM model, at least in the US. I don't know if there was outside the US. This is one of the things that people talked about. There was rumors, there was leaks. No 16 gig. It's all 12 across the board. They did bring the S25 up to 12, so it's 12, 12, 12. I mean, it would be nice if they had 16 gig model, especially if it was like a 512 and a 16. I guess they wanted to streamline it so there's less models, maybe less issues with price, because it is $12.99. They did not increase the price. Like, they didn't increase it. That's good. I don't think that, I mean, people would really be happy about that if they did. So maybe one of the trade-offs was taking some of the functionality out of the S Pen, which questionable how many people use that anyway. So if you use that, if you use the S Pen with your air gestures and all that stuff as a remote shutter, sound off in the comments. I kind of want to get some feedback on that. Do you use the S Pen? Do you not use the S Pen? Do you use the functions on the S Pen? Because ultimately, here's the thing. A lot of people that buy the Ultra never wanted an S Pen in the first place. It was the big version of their normal size flagship series phone. They had the Note separately. We know several years ago they merged it into one lineup. So I'm sure the people that don't want an S Pen or never wanted one don't care. And then there's the people who do use it and expect that functionality to be there. So there's some frustration with that, but don't want to harp on that too much. The screen looks really nice. You can see the bezels are even smaller and thinner than ever. And I think they made it like 15% thinner and less bulky, which, I mean, that's always welcome. Anytime you talk about these phones are so big, um, still the same selfie cameras last year. They have some new colors. The new colors, this is like the natural color one. They have a couple other colorways as well. I don't have them in here with me. We'll be able to see those online, and I'll have more information on those later. I'll have some B-roll clips where you can see some of the photos and stuff in here. But overall, it's still the Ultra. I mean, it's still the biggest, best phone that Samsung makes. Snapdragon 8 Elite processor. They actually juiced it up a little bit more, so everybody else is getting the top end, right, is 4.32 gigahertz for the top end speed on the processor. It's a little bit higher than that. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. Maybe it was like 4.37 or 4. It was a little bit higher, so that's cool. There is more customization that's been done in these, like the legwork and the cooperation between Qualcomm with the Snapdragon team and Samsung, especially when it comes to the ISP, which we talked about this in other videos, the image signaling processor, is something that they worked on to make it even better. Of course, they've got 10-bit HDR video now on by default, which is pretty cool. And they've got some other notable features there as well. New AI stuff with, and the biggest thing is the contextual awareness, multimodality. It has where you can like talk to it and say, hey, what's this? Go ahead and add this to my calendar, email, so and so. There's multi-step, multimodality you can do with certain things in here. They do have this new morning brief feature, which reminds me a lot they used to have with the alarm. I think with the last one they had, it maybe was the Note 20 Ultra. It was really cool because when you would wake up in the morning, it would kind of start reading off the news. So they have the morning briefing, and it's based off of things that you normally do on your phone. It kind of follows and tracks what you do. Of course, all the stuff that it tracks with your data and information is secured by Knox. So you have that stuff. You don't have to worry about your information getting out. But it tracks what you do, what the kind of things you do in the morning, afternoon, the evening, and it gives you this briefing in the morning. It'll even give you like a end of day briefing, and it's kind of neat because it shows you like the weather, shows you the temperature, pollen outlook, gives you some news articles you might be interested in. And I'll have more time to go over the AI stuff later. But the screen, big, beautiful 6.9-inch here on the Ultra. I believe it's 2600 nits brightness, if I remember correctly. And they've got a 256, 512, 1 terabyte. With the S25, I believe it's 128 and 256. And then the Plus, I believe, was 256 and 512, but no 1 TB option. And this is something where it's going to be real big for upgrading if you're like an S23, S22, S21. Those folks is going to be a real big upgrade. The big question mark is going to be if you've got an S24 Ultra or even maybe an S23 Ultra. If you care about that functionality with your S Pen, you're going to lose it. Now, I think you could probably still get the S Pen Pro, which you can buy separately and takes advantage of that stuff. But of course, it won't go in the housing. This, of course, still goes in the housing. And they've got the battery life is supposed to be better. We talked about this before with a lot of different things, just like 40%, 40%, 40%. There's a lot of efficiencies that have improved over battery life, a lot of efficiencies in performance and AI, ray tracing, hardware-based ray tracing. All those things are going to impact how everything works on the phone. And overall, it feels good. It feels nice and premium. It does feel less bulky than the S24 Ultra. Of course, this is still a large and bulky phone. Still a 5,000 milliamp battery, still 45-watt charging, 25-watt wireless charging. So you get a little bit of an increase there, I believe, if I remember correctly. And of course, there's no SD card, no IR blast, just no charger in the box. Hopefully you did the reserve your pre-order so that way you could go ahead and get a free charger or get a free case, a free accessory, something like that. And the pre-order deals, of course, you lock in that up to $1,250 of savings. If you want to get one, the pre-order time generally is the best time to go ahead and get one because you get all the freebies, you get all the extras, and that's something that's really important. And of course, with Samsung, I always recommend buying it from them because you get the no frills, no guilt if you want to buy something, because if you don't like it, you can always return it and there's no harm, no foul. They don't charge a restocking fee. They don't charge any of that garbage. So you can buy it, you get up to 2 weeks. And if you order one, they'll send it out to you. And then that's when your 2-week window starts. You can transfer everything, set it up, compare it with your other phones, see if you like it, and then send it in. And they give you the FedEx label. You don't have to do that. You've already got the box from the other phone. They're the best trade-in deals. They're the best trade-in value that you can get out of anywhere, especially when it comes to the Samsung phones. And then on top of that, the storage upgrade, and they've got the exclusive online colors. They've got the discounts. You've got military discount, first responder, veteran education, educator, students, and things like that. So good deal if you want to go ahead and pre-order it. And again, I've got a affiliate link in the description. You can do that, help support the channel. It doesn't cost you any extra, but if you buy something, then it helps support me and allows me to do all the stuff that I continue to do. But overall, I mean, there are some criticisms I think folks will have here, like where the 16 gig RAM model, where the Bluetooth, and we'll see what happens about that moving forward. But I'm also curious from a scientific, I guess scientific, from a research perspective, how big of an impact is it? Because clearly they did some research and like, all right, well, enough of our users, I guess, don't use this, so maybe we'll save some money here. And I think maybe the trade-off could be fair. I don't know. Is it more important to you to save money, or is it more important to you to have the functionality of the S Pen? Because if they didn't do some of these things, if they didn't do some presumably cost-cutting measures, you'd be looking at paying more money, right? We're looking at maybe $13.99, maybe $13.49 instead of $12.99. And I think more people will probably be happy with the cost savings than that other stuff. So definitely some improvements here, improvements in the camera. Most of the stuff that's improved is stuff I talked about, and a lot of that is attributable to the chipset. And it'll be interesting once I get my hands on mine to go ahead and test those things out, see how good the battery life is, see how it impacts the battery life, see how much better the camera stuff is. I'm really interested in the improvements with the macro. There's a new sound scrubbing feature in here which uses AI where you can filter out sound and stuff, very similar to what the iPhone has. So I think that they've made some steps in the right direction. They made some interesting steps for sure that we'll see how that stands the test of time. But if you're in the market for a new one, of course, this is a great phone to get. And while the pre-order's going, definitely take advantage of the offers, the opportunities. Again, I got a link in the description for that, but that's all I got here for the S25 Ultra. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, concerns, complaints, go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys next time.